Everybody, just wanted to make a video thinking about the big question that everybody always asks. What is art? What is art? So I was listening the other day to this one woman giving an interview, and she talked about art being a capsule of the times. And I've even said this before, that one of the great things about art and painting especially is you can look at a painting and you can think of it as like this time capsule looking back in time. But I think now I've got to revise my position on that a little bit, because a lot of great art that really resonates throughout the ages is actually timeless and has this timeless quality about it. And that timelessness is generally correlated to some sort of human experience that all people share in some way. And being able to poke a little bit at that very human experience, because art is generally speaking to humans, is really the essence of what timeless art is. So in a lot of ways, I don't really think that art necessarily needs to be an encapsulation of exactly the times right now. Of course, we look at art having these types of markers which denote, this is the 1980s in New York City, or this is 1890 in Paris, France, or whatever. And we like those markers because we like to try and figure out art as if it's some sort of code or some sort of historical document. But in reality, I think it's about connection with other people and communication. I was listening to a podcast with an artist named Libor Hladík, Czech artist. And he talked about art being akin to water that rains outside, and it goes down into the ground, and it collects minerals in the ground, and then it forms into these little streams of some sort, picking up all those different minerals, and then it goes deep underneath the ground, and there's underwater streams. And then somebody at the end of the stream finally gets a glass of that water and drinks it and thinks, this is really good water. And what he's saying with that is basically that art is an accumulation of something you do repetitively. You do it again and again and again, and you listen to your intuition and you follow it and you don't give up. Of course, artists tend not to give up, almost to the point of irresponsibility. But over time, you just keep doing that and keep doing that. These little things start building up like these minerals that get into the water, and they start having certain systems about them. So when you look at a painting that I make, you see this accumulation of all the other paintings I've made. And I don't know if many of you are following, but recently I had a very successful project that launched at solos.so, solos.so. And I was looking at this project, and it's basically paintings from the last 4 years of my life. And I cut them up into layers and worked with a creative technologist named Denison Bertram. And we worked on creating generative collages based on these different layers of paintings. And so we could make thousands and thousands of unique Pollaczek paintings from all these different pieces, arranged in different ways. So it's kind of like a deck of cards, right? So you have 52 cards in a deck, but in that deck, there's almost ultimately infinite possibilities of combinations of just 52 cards. In fact, I learned that the exclamation point in mathematics, hopefully this is true, means like 54 times 53, that answer times 52, that answer times 51. If you do that, you'll get the number of possible combinations for 52, or I said 54, but 52 cards in a deck. So it's seemingly infinite amount of possibilities. So we created this website, and now we're building it out. We're going to involve other artists in it as well. It's really exciting. And, they're minted as NFTs, and we tokenized it as well. So we're doing a lot of cool stuff with that. But visually, these paintings are essentially all my paintings from the last 4 years of my life getting smushed together, getting cut up, and being put back together. And that's something we generally don't see in painting, because generally we see this kind of progression, and then things take a twist, and naturally this just starts happening, whether we want to or not. If you start at a certain place and just continue on working every single day, you're going to surpass those goals that you had in the beginning. It's like trying to teach yourself how to play the guitar. Okay, buy a guitar. Okay, step one, be able to hold the strings down so they don't go boom when you hit the string. All of a sudden you go bing, and you can hear it, and it resonates. Oh, you got that first step down, go to step two. And it's unending, this whole process. And with my paintings, we see all these different layers given to us all at once. So I see paintings from 4 years ago mashed up and remixed with paintings that I've created now. And it's a really eerie feeling, because all these paintings kind of feel like a Jeremiah Polachek painting. And it begs the question of what we're doing and how we fall into these systems, and where those systems that we learn come from. If it's some sort of innate thing, or if it's more something like that we learn from culture, from looking at other people's work. How do we actually end up making the art that we end up making? And I think a lot of it just has to do with intuition, and really releasing yourself from having to control everything, allowing yourself to flow with the water as it goes. Because the more that you fight it, the more people can see that you're fighting it. And the more that you go along with it, the better chance you have at really finding your voice. And if you keep doing this for years and years and years, focus on big themes. Think about big themes. I always say that. Simple titles for paintings: boy on donkey, apples on table, girl with horse. Just simple ideas. If you want to know what to paint, go look up Picasso paintings and just look at his titles, and then make paintings of those titles. If you do that long enough, you're going to find that your own voice does come out, and all of a sudden a painting looks like you really painted it. And it's not because you just looked at a bunch of artists and you wanted to mimic their techniques or try and emulate some certain type of style. It's going to be because your hand, and listening to this very strange force that pushes you in certain directions, and just being like water and kind of bumping over all those rocks, picking up all those different minerals slowly. It takes many, many years. At the end, you're going to make something really cool. So thanks for listening. And share your comments down below what you think art is, and what you think about my definition of it.